As you walk through the shadow, feel your weight on solid ground. As you tremble through the darkness, in the midst of silent sounds, as you search for the answer, and no answer has been found, may you stand your ground. And when you come to the table to lay your burdens down, as you wait upon the weary, for whom no rest is found, as you search for to lean on and find no friend around, may you stand your ground. May you stand your ground. May you stand your ground. When the last step is before you and you feel like falling down, may you stand your ground. As you kneel in the garden and no one is around, as you raise your hands above you and from your lips cry out, "Oh, Father, forgive me, for I could not see through my doubt." Oh, stand your ground. May you stand your ground. May you stand your ground. When the last step is before you and your light is burning out, may you stand your ground. Oh, may you stand your ground. Yeah, may you stand your ground.
Thanks, Steve and Co. Friday night, I woke up at 2 a.m. Anybody, that ever happened to anyone else? Couldn't go back to sleep. And I started thinking, well, this is God wanting to talk. God woke me up. God wants to talk to me because we're friends. And of course, my ego self said, no, I do not want to talk. I do not want to listen. I just want to sleep. But God was persistent, because God knows no space or time. So I started meditating. I wish I could have remembered all the revelations that came to me for this talk during that time, but I didn't write them down and I didn't remember them. But the reason why I share that with you, because God can be a friend. God does talk to us. We can talk to God. And we're still working with the book by Paul Smith called Is Your God Big Enough, Close Enough, You Enough? We spent a couple weeks on God being big enough, that majestic, mysterious God that our human minds can't even comprehend. the God of nature, the God of looking at the mountains, of the beauty and everything that works such in divine order. And then a couple weeks ago, we started on, is your God close enough? And we talked a lot about Jesus. And that may have triggered some people. But Jesus is our way shower in Christianity, and in unity in particular, we talk about Jesus as the one who showed us how to live a spiritual life, how to live a joyful life, how to talk to God even. And so today we're still going to talk about this close to us God, and then next week we can breathe, because we'll get back into a God, the inner God, which most of us in unity are a lot more comfortable with, that inner I am, the God of our being, the God that we express, that expresses through us and as us. But we're still on the close God today, so we're talking about the God that is close enough, the God that is beside us, that intimate second face of God, that God that is presence. Paul Smith talks about in one of the chapter, is God really there? Is anybody there? Is anybody there when we pray? Is anybody there? You know, it can feel like last weekend, the 2 shootings that happened within 24 hours. The one in Dayton was the 250th mass shooting this year. It can feel like there's nobody there. It can feel like we're praying to God that doesn't care. It can feel like nobody's listening to us. These things just keep happening. And what do we do with them? What do we do besides pray? Praying is good, but what can we do? Is anybody there? And in unity, we teach that, yes, there is a God that is there. There is a presence that is approachable and relatable and available to us all the time. And we need to turn back and turn towards it. Beside us, within us, bigger than us, all of that is part of unity's teachings. And God is principle, we teach that as well, but also personal at our own level of understanding. So we will make God in whatever form we need God to be for us. It can be Jesus, it can be God, it can be Spirit, it can be Holy Spirit, it can be Mary, the mother of God. It can be whatever we need God to be. God is beyond gender. But God is a presence that is always with us and always available to us. And it's important to have this full spectrum, integral spirituality, this spirituality that includes all 3 faces of God, even though we may find ourselves most comfortable with 1 or 2 of them, and maybe not this one. Or maybe this one when we were younger or in our youth. For me, being Catholic for 40 years, I was very comfortable with the God with me, the God beside me. And when I first started attending Unity, that God within me was really uncomfortable for me. And now it's the other way around, because I spent 20 years-ish, I'm aging myself, trying to push that God aside. But it's important to have the full spectrum. Paul Smith says this in the chapter, Is Anybody There? Let me bring that quote up. Carol. Paul Smith says, he's talking about Ken Wilber here. He says, Wilber wrote about the reality of the I-thou experience, calling attention to the dynamic of personal surrender to the beloved and its neglect by some traditions. That would be maybe a little bit of unity. He says that relating to God as being to being, that's the I-thou, the great devotional leveler the great ego killer, that before which the ego is humbled into emptiness, without higher levels of thou, then one remains subtly or not so subtly fixated to variations on I-ness and first person. That is why the merely first person approaches often retain a deep-seated arrogance. Do you see how it can be all about us? It's all about I am sometimes, if we're just focused on that approach to God, that approach to spirituality. We need the majesty, the beyond us, and the close to us, God. All of those to get this full spectrum. And then when we have this close to us God, we can realize that God is close to everyone. God is available to everyone. God is within everyone, not just me. And then we can have compassion for people. We can do our work. We inspire personal transformation. It's really important because we have to step out of ourselves. We have to step out of our patterns, step out of our reactivity, so then we can be of service to other people, have compassion for other people. These shootings were just heart-wrenching. And in unity, we can look at the shooters as Christ too. Can we have compassion for them? Imagine the despair and the anguish they must be feeling, the loneliness, the aloneness they must be feeling, to think that is going to help them feel better. It's really challenging. Love your neighbor, no exceptions. Sometimes it's really challenging. And we're invited in to do that. We had a conference call on Thursday, Unity Worldwide Ministries, on how do we respond? What do we do with these shootings that are occurring? What is our message? And nothing concrete came of it. It was more brainstorming. It was more, we have to help people see the beauty in themselves. Everyone, no exceptions, is a beautiful expression of God. It's challenging. But what we can do is don't allow the hate out of our own mouths, in our own thoughts. Catch it. On Facebook, don't allow it. Have crucial conversations, important conversations with people. Reach across the aisle and try to understand where people are coming from. Build that bridge. Not easy to do. But this I-thou God, this I-thou relationship with God can help us with that. When we're not just coming from I am, me, it's all about me. It is, and it's all about all of us. So having compassion is not always the easiest thing. The second face of God can be really challenging to us. It can be really hard to go there. And Paul Smith talks about getting beyond this mythical God, this God in the sky, this God that just keeps getting, we can do the God beyond all we want, and he just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's still that guy in the sky. We have this God next to us. Make room for this God. create a bond with this God. Eric Butterworth talks about bonding versus binding. He says in this article, it can be said that the first bond in the universe and in history is the bond between God and man. It's a constant. We may not be conscious of it. We may lose the awareness of it. We may fall far short of the expression of it, but that's the true bond in the beginning, the relationship that we hold between God and ourselves. Having a bond with God is so important to us. Having a bond is freeing. It's supportive. When you have a bond with somebody, you allow them to be who they are. You accept them as they are. Versus binding. When we're binding, we're holding on tight. We want things to go our way. It can be a jealous, possessive kind of relationship. Versus a bonding that is allowing. Think of the ugly duckling and how that mother duck wanted that ugly duckling to be like all the rest of her ducklings instead of accepting him for who he was, which was really a lovely swan. We want to create a bond that allows us and each other to be who we came here to be. And it takes time, right? It takes time to create these bonds. It's not a static one-time thing, oh, I'm saved, and that's it. It's an ongoing, it's a movement. Like unity is a movement. It's always moving and evolving and growing. And it takes time. There's a professor at Unity of Kansas, Jeffrey Hall, who did a study and published his results about how long it takes to make friends. And he said, to move somebody from an acquaintance to a friend takes about 40 to 60 hours of time together. To move someone to the next level of friendship, a little closer friend, takes about 80 to 100 hours. And to move somebody from that to a close friend takes about 200 hours. Are we giving God that much time? Are we letting God be a friend to us, somebody we can talk to and share with and laugh with and celebrate with and cry with? It takes time. And it has to be, he said it more, in his study, Jeffrey Hall said, we also has to be, it can't be just one way. Both people have to want this. Well, God always is available to us. We have to want it. We have to want it. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I've had a really hard time resonating with this material this week. There are 3 short chapters that I was supposed to cover. The second person of God is always there. And when we're challenged, we really need this second person of God, second face of God. And not be dependent on that mythical God in the sky, but the God that is available and approachable and relatable, as we say in Unity. Last week, Kevin and I were in Quebec, and we were in Montreal. We went to this basilica up on the hill, St. Joseph's Oratory, the biggest basilica cathedral in Canada. And in one room, on 2 sides of the wall, they had all these crutches hanging there on the wall. And they represent all the people there's thousands of them, all the people that got a healing from being there. And I always like to look at things, a little metaphysically. Well, what do those crutches represent to me right now, this time in my life? It's having this second face of God, allowing this second face of God, this relationship with God again into my life, but not in the way that I did, not in that dependent, plead with, beg with, make deals with kind of God. That some of you have probably experienced that. What crutches do we need to let go of to be mature spiritual beings? Are you close enough to God? Is God your friend? There's a cute show on TV called God Friended Me. Anybody see that? It's a guy who he claims he's an atheist. His dad's a minister. And he gets a friend request from God. And he thinks somebody's playing a joke on him, right? So I can't remember exactly how the first episode goes, but he accepts the friend request, and this God person on the other end keeps requesting or sending him other friends. It's really cute. It's really well done. But the reason why I brought that up is because the creators of this show are on opposite sides of their religious beliefs. One is religious, one is not. And they said that, I read an interview that they had done, and they said that because they are so different, that their relationship is really rich. You don't hear that very often, that people appreciate the relationship because of their differences. But they wanted to create a show that gave hope, that showed that people who are from different backgrounds and different religions and different race, and they do have very diverse cast, that they can all work together, that they can get along even though their beliefs are different. It was a really great interview. And they also wanted to use Facebook because when Facebook began, everyone thought of it as a great way to connect with people. And now it seems more like a way that we're being divided. Let God be close enough to you. See that God is close or available to all of us, to each of us. Create that bond. Are you willing to let God be your friend? Are you willing to have a conversation with God? Are you willing to see God in this beside me as an actual spiritual being? Not comfortable for a lot of Unity people. I know it hasn't been for me. And I've been working with this for the last few weeks since I read the chapters on this close enough. And I kept thinking, something's going to happen that I'm going to be able to share. Nothing's happened. But what has happened is that I'm excited about God again. I'm excited and in love with God again. There's a peace about it. There's a joy about getting to know this side of God again. Richard Rohr's been writing, I read his blogs, he's a Franciscan priest, and he's been having a series on mystics. And he talks about how important it is, it's not yet. How important it is to be a mystic, that we all are mystics. We can all have an experience of the divine. But we don't always recognize when it's a divine experience. We don't always recognize when it's the divine speaking to us, when God is speaking to us. And one of the mystics that he quotes is, drawing a blank on his name, Howard Thurman, thank you, who says, listen for the genuine. When you're listening to a voice and you're not sure if it's the voice of God, listen for the genuine. The voice of God will always be inclusive, will always be loving, will always be peaceful, will always be on the side of good, will never put anyone down, anyone, no exceptions. Listen for the genuine. And be a mystic. Now I'll take that quote. This is another, Beverly Lanzetta was one of the other ones that he quoted. There's quite a few. But she says this: mystical consciousness affects the whole of one's life by opening the heart to the divine presence in all realities. Open your heart to the divine presence, to that God that is next to you, to that God that is there for you, the comforter, the advocate, the encourager. It can change your life. Namaste.
Here's a visual image. We are dancing, we are singing, we are walking toward the heart of freedom. We are hoping, we are praying, we are living in the spirit of love. That's the whole song, by the way.
It's a Stevie Larson original.
Shining light, loving ways, higher thoughts. We want golden days. It's just not easy living day to day. Being in the moment, we are on our way. Oh, we are dancing, oh, we are singing, oh, we are walking to the heart of freedom. Oh, we are hoping, oh, we are praying, oh, we are living in the spirit of love. Open our understanding, looking for higher ground, holding on to happiness. Love is all around. Oh, we are dancing, oh, we are singing, oh, we are walking to the heart of freedom. Oh, we are hoping, oh, we are praying, oh, we are living in the spirit of love. Oh, with no condition, who walketh without a weight. Breathe in your compassion, so we'll lead the way. Oh, we are dancing, oh, we are singing, oh, we are walking to the heart of freedom. Oh, we are hoping, yes, we are praying, oh, we are living in the spirit of love. Oh, we are dancing, oh, we are singing, oh, we are walking to the heart of freedom. Oh, we are hoping, oh, we are praying, oh, we are living in the spirit of love. Oh, the spirit of love. Oh, the spirit of love. Oh, the spirit of love.
I bet that's going to be a Spirit Rising song. I can tell. So if we could gather our love offerings, which we so are grateful for, and I also want to just acknowledge the people that do the automatic giving through their credit cards and through their bank accounts, which the love that comes through here that does such work, we are so grateful for. So if we could say our love offering together. God's love has always met and will always meet, all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. I only get to say I'm new for a couple weeks or something. Sorry about that. So when I first came in on Tuesday, my first day, one of the first things we got to do was help take the backpacks to the Precious Child, a man that came, and they were 3 huge buckets, just absolutely brimming, overfilling with all the school supplies, and we just want to thank everybody for that. And he was so impressed and just thanked us so much. And the staff just really said, it's amazing how in this community, when we need something, just how tremendously people step up. So thank you for that, and it's such a needed thing for the community. So we are in August, which continues to be a shock to me, and school has started and is starting for a bunch of kids this week, and our spiritual education program for kids starts next Sunday at the 11 a.m. service. And so when you got your kids, bring them on down. If you know people who have kids, bring them downstairs, and Christopher's really put together a really great curriculum for this season, so we're really excited about that. And if you have a birthday in July or August, we do a birthday dinner. It's for just the birthday person, not your whole family. Don't bring your husband and all your kids. And it's here in Foss Hall. It's tonight at 5 o'clock. And it's a really great way to connect. The small groups are really the way to get to know people better and for us to honor you and to say thank you for being here and wish you happy birthday. So if you're one of those people, if you could sign up back in the sign up so that they know how much food to make, that would be ideal. And Janice is next.
One final Woodstock announcement. And you know, we have been announcing this for a long time because this event has taken a village to create. So first we were putting together a team of healers and vendors and practitioners and artists, and we're happy to announce that we've got 27 of them at the event. So this is going to be incredible. We have a children's program, a children's wonderland that's going on with a bouncy castle and pony rides and a dunk tank and pictures of a mini horse and even a soccer tot set up. So again, there will be a huge family-friendly component to this. And then we'll have food available. Los Dos Bros will be there with their food truck. We'll be doing a vegan burger and brats through Beyond Meat. And then there'll be a staff and board bar happening all day long. And that's not even the musical part. So the music is happening from noon to 7 right out in front of Foss Hall. And again, I just can't say enough how much Good grief. How much gratitude we have for the way that this community has come together to put this together. And, you know, it's free, it's open to the entire public, and what we invite you to do is to not just be our guests, but also to be our ambassadors, because not everybody that wants to know about Columbine is going to walk in here on a Sunday. And we know that there will be lots and lots of people there that would love to know about your positive experience here and see it through your eyes. So thanks for coming out. It's next Saturday from noon to 7. We're going to be on the radio on Friday afternoon on KGNU about 3 o'clock, so be sure to listen for that. And we're a licensed event through the Woodstock people.
And I'm just going to plug to come at noon, because Chrysalis and Spirit Rising are the first two bands, and then stay all day, all the way to our headliners, which is just going to be a bunch of dancing and fun. So bring your sunscreen. Okay, and then it's Sue's turn.
Put me on, Chris. I'm on. Just want to acknowledge, it doesn't sound like it. I just want to acknowledge somebody who has put a lot of time here and a lot of effort into our website that he created a couple years ago, a new website, and Facebook. You've seen all the many posts that he has posted on our Facebook page. John Erb has just stepped down and retired from doing this work for us, but we want to acknowledge him and thank him for the last 3 years of all this time and effort.
You know, I'm just in my first week, and I can't say enough about how I can already see the amazing volunteers that we have, the amount of time and energy that people that love this community put in with their absolute whole heart is already blowing my mind. And I've been here for a long time, and you don't really know until you get inside to really see how much work goes. So thank you, John, for that. All right, are you here for the first or second time? If you're new to Columbine, we'd love for you to stand up. We want to welcome you here and give you a flower and say thank you for coming today. If you're interested in a tour of the church and meeting with me, I'd love to meet you afterwards, and we can talk more about Columbine and what we have to offer. So I'm glad you're here. Okay, and who are prayer chaplains today? Gretchen and Lydia. I'm going to have to remember all these names. Forgive me with names. I do this thing where I blank out, and I totally know who you are, and then it won't come to me. So I'm going to get better, I promise. So they're going to set up shop each on each side of the sanctuary. If you haven't done prayer chaplains, they can sit with you in celebration or in support, and it really is just spirit traveling right through them, and it's an amazing opportunity to do prayer. And fellowship in Foss Hall, and now it's time to do the peace song. Thank you.
You are a gift.
You are a gift
to everyone you meet.
to everyone you meet.
You shine your light
You shine your light
everywhere you go,
everywhere you go.
and you belong.
And you belong
Every place you enter,
every place you
for
enter.
you are love,
For you are love.
and you are home.
You
Sing together.
are home. We are a gift to everyone we meet. We shine our light everywhere we go, and we belong every place we enter. For we are love, and we are home. For you are love, and you are home. For I am love, and I am home.
Bye, everybody.